Hey everyone, we're here at KORG with the minilogue XD analog synth, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the sequencer of minilogue XD, its voice modes, and some various performance features that appear on minilogue XD. Minilogue XD's sequencer has a lot in common with the original minilogue, but adds some cool new features that make sequencing a really useful and performable tool. For example, the 8 step buttons that were on the original minilogue have been broken out into 16 step buttons that you can use for inputting sequences more easily on minilogue XD. There's also a new motion mode button, so you can jump right into motion sequencing mode and motion sequence your parameters on minilogue XD without even inputting notes. But one of the most exciting features of minilogue XD is that you can actually input stepped motion. And you can use this to immediately change a parameter by step. So let's demonstrate this by creating a percussive sequence, for example. We're going to hold the first and 5th step buttons and input a note. Now there's an F on both of these, and we're going to do the same for the 9th and 13th. Now we have an F on each quarter note of our 16-step sequence. But we're going to turn down VCL1 and we're going to bring up the multi-engine, which is going to be our noise oscillator. Now we're going to turn that little noise burst into a kick by turning the cutoff all the way down, so you can't hear anything, and bring up the resonance. And now we're going to input some envelope generator modulation of the cutoff. Now it's starting to sound like a kick, but we want some amp envelope too, a little bit of release. And it's a little bit quiet, so we're going to actually use the drive function here with 100% drive. That's pretty sweet. Now we're going to turn the 2nd and 4th kicks into snares. So let's go to motion mode and select those steps and turn up the cutoff all the way and turn down the resonance all the way. This is going to create 2 motion paths for resonance and cutoff that immediately change when you're hitting those steps to open up the cutoff all the way and get rid of all that resonance. And if we want to put in some effects, we can really flesh it out, for example. And if we further want to shape that snare, we can select those steps again and maybe bring down the decay a little bit. And you can use this to make highly complicated percussive patterns or very complex sequences that even motion sequence the voice modes on minilogue XD. An example of that is this pattern right here. If I were to turn off all the motion in this pattern, it would sound completely different. So returning from minilogue are voice modes, and those also appeared on the KORG prologue, and they're a way of combining the 4 voices on minilogue XD in ways that make it more useful for different types of playing. The voice modes on minilogue XD are the most popular ones that were on the KORG minilogue, and those include first a poly voice mode, which is just your regular polysynth. And if I turn up the voice mode depth, I get a duophonic unison mode. So that's actually stacking 2 voices per duophonic note on top of each other and then detuning them against each other. The next voice mode is a unison mode, which just stacks all of minilog XD's voices on top of each other for a massive unison, and then I can detune that unison using the voice mode depth knob. And that's, of course, monophonic because all voices are being used on one key at a time. The next voice mode is chord mode, where if I press a key, minilog XD will play a chord using the root that I choose with the key bed, determined by the voice mode depth. The next voice mode is the arpeggiator, where the voice mode depth knob controls the direction of the arpeggiator. And if I flip the voice mode switch down one more, I get a latch. And while we're still on the topic of voice modes, the voice mode is actually one of the parameters that can be modulated by step using the motion sequencer. So let's take that sound that I had and switch back to polyphonic mode and open the filter a little bit. Now let's input a chord by step. Now that sequence sounds like this. But we want to change two of the steps in that sequence to have the arpeggiator running. So let's go to motion mode and choose these two steps and switch the voice mode to arpeggiation. Now we want to change the division of that arpeggiation. Another performance feature on the minilog XD is the joystick, which functions as a pitch bend with a controllable range, and by default you actually have some filter control if you go down, and then you have a little bit of vibrato if you go up. So I can do corny 80s stuff like this. But if I want to assign the joystick y-axis to other parameters, or change the range of the x-axis for bending, I go to Edit Mode, press the first blinking program button, and then I immediately have the plus bend range. I can turn that all the way up to an octave. And then I have the negative bend range if I press it again. Next up, I can also assign the y-axis to different parameters, and I can do that independently for the positive y-axis. For example, if I wanted to change that to reverb depth, for example. And then I can also change the negative y-axis independently in that same menu, and change the range for both of those parameters. Minilog XD also has a damper pedal input, and depending on what type of damper pedal you have, you can go into Edit Mode, Global Edit, press the second blinking program button twice and get to damper pedal polarity. Change that from positive to negative. So that's the minilogue XD. If you have any questions or you want to let us know about a sound you made on the minilogue XD, hit the comments below and remember to subscribe to the KORG YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.